What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, episode 42.
Yes, sir. Episode 42. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name's Jared. My co-host is D. Denzel, I'm sorry. And we're going to get into some cigar talk. But before we do so, we got to do our tradition. We're in episode 42.
I like this one. I like this one.
We got a few. We can go Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott. Yep.
We can go Ronnie Lott.
We can go Stackhouse.
We can go Stackhouse. We can go.
We can keep going.
James Worthy.
James Worthy. Yep. You got that one. So we can keep going. We can keep going. Paul Warfield.
I think I know who it's got to be. No.
It's got to be. But
hands down. You on the same page as me?
I think we're on the same page.
Who got
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson. It's the Jackie Robinson episode.
You got to give it a Jackie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But much love to Stackhouse, man. Come on now. Show some love to the former Piston.
Nah, man. I give it to Worthy before I give it to Stackhouse.
Hey, Worthy got chips, though, so I can't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Legendary. North Carolina, too. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Stackhouse, North Carolina?
He was, man. But, you know, he was North Carolina, L.A. versus North Carolina, Detroit. Who we going to go with? You know what I'm saying?
Detroit, Philly.
I represent. I recognize Stackhouse as a Philadelphia player more than a Detroit player, personally.
True. I mean, I give you that. And I gotta admit, man, being a Detroit fan, and I hate to go there early talking about Detroit, but I tell you one thing: I was hurt as a Detroit fan, and any Detroit fan that's listening, and they had to be hurt too when they traded Stackhouse for Rip Hamilton. Man, I'm like, what in the world are we doing? How do you give up Stackhouse for Richard at the time? For me, Hamilton, and then you know what I'm saying he got denied. You Rip Hamilton. He earned that.
They got there eventually. You know what I'm saying? And Rip was
for sure
integral to that. But yeah, I understand. It was so many times throughout your guys' franchise that you just say, "What are we doing?" Yeah. Every franchise, what are we doing?
You run Barry Sanders off, you run Megatron off. Come on, what are we doing?
Right. Always, man. But, you know, it's a lot of history there in Detroit, man. Some good.
Hey, man. It is.
Hey,
but all in all, shout out to Jackie Robinson, breaking those barriers. You know what I'm saying? Making things happen, making history. And the history definitely lives on forever.
Most definitely. Hey, that's the quickest we ever got to a unanimous answer.
Yeah, I mean, how can you? There's no argument there. You know what I'm saying?
Jackie Robinson.
Definitely some honorable mentions, but boom, yeah, definitely with pride. For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Hey, man, let's get into these sticks. Now, I'll go first because I'm definitive in what I'll be smoking this week. Mm-hmm. I'll let you go afterwards because you still got some decisions to make, I believe. For me, I decided to bring the new year in, 2023, first episode of the year, with an Oliva. And I went with the Serie V, but I went with the Lancero. The Lancero. Look how thin that thing is.
Yeah. Hey, and we went with that. I had one of those Lanceros a couple episodes ago. Loved it, man. So hopefully you'll have the same experience with that length of a cigar and that shape. Hopefully it'll give you the same ride that it gave me.
Let me tell you what I heard that made me go with the Lancero. I didn't go to the shop with the intentions of buying a Lancero, but when I saw it, because I knew I went with the intentions of getting an Oliva. I'm like, I need that Oliva in my life to start the year off.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through trying to decide which one I want to go with. And I'm like, I want the V series, but which one, which size do I want? And I remembered hearing a while back that the Lancero was like the Cuban go-to style of cigar. And that's that's what my man Fidel? Not Fidel. Who what's the Cuban smoker? Fidel Castro. His go-to was, the Cohiba in the Lancero. So whenever he wanted to gift you something, he gifted you a Lancero. And he was very proud of that. Nobody could get one unless they got it from him in Cuba. Yeah. So, and I think they say the Lancero means lance, like a sword and that's because of the way it looks.
Got it.
So I said, okay, well, if Patel said this is the go-to, this is the move, I got to go get the Lancero, and then I remembered you said you had a great experience with it on the show. I'm like, let me get this. I read up a little bit on just the idea of a Lancero after that also, and they pretty much was saying, aficionado was saying that a lot of places don't get it right, but when you find someone somewhere that gets it right, it just gives you like a concentrated dose of everything that's special about that cigar. And they last long, they're not short. And they were just like, when it's done properly, it's top notch in the cigar game.
Which they are not lying about that, because it definitely hit the mark for me when I had mine. So I can't remember what did I smoke? What was it? Man, I can't remember. I should feel ashamed for not even remembering which cigar brand I smoked one of. But they definitely hit the nail on the head with that, because they definitely did it right and was the perfect balance of everything that it gave me. So definitely for sure.
Hey, it's Nicaraguan through and through. I get that last piece of information. Nicaraguan filler, binder, and wrapper, all Nicaraguan. So
Hey, and that might be the wave going forward. If I give somebody a cigar, it might be Lancero from now on.
Yeah, because what happens is, we look at the other sizes and gauges and say, okay, this is what a cigar looks like. You know what I'm saying? And this right here just looks like something weird. But in reality, you know what I'm saying? It's natural to do this, but it just don't look like the cool cigar everybody used to smoking. And that's probably why you said the older gentleman that gave you that one that you looked at like a little, what'd you call it?
A cigar. It was a cigarillo, but it was like it looked like a black without the tip on it.
But that might be why guys like him enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Is just that concentrated, straight to the point dose. That sometimes if you build a cigar with too much of the filler and all these other details, you might end up not getting, you know what I'm saying, quite what you want. Yeah. Who knows, man? But anyway, this is my choice. I'm excited for it. I want to do too much and do a V cut when I should just do a straight cut. You think I can pull a V off on this? I'm tempted.
I think you can. I want
to get the most out of it.
I trust you. I mean, you are a true aficionado. You've been at this game for a while. So if anybody I trust to go ahead and pull it off, I think you can do it. I say go for it.
Rolling though. I'm gonna go for it.
Why the cameras are rolling?
Where you at, man? What you got, man? What are your options today?
All right, man. So, hey, look. So, literally, I made the decision while you were talking. I brought 4 cigars to the table. I don't know about you, but this is actually my first smoke of the year. I had a cigar New Year's Eve. You already had yours.
You know I already had.
But I haven't had mine.
I haven't sent it to you. I had it.
Yeah, I remember I had text you, I think it was Monday, and I had intended on having one. I was literally that morning going to have a morning smoke. Never happened. It never happened.
I beat you to it. Yeah, that was right.
You beat me to it.
I beat you to it.
And I never got mine. I never got mine. So this is my first smoke of the new year, and I had some options. How do I want to start my new year off? Do I want to start with something familiar, a familiar brand, or not so familiar brand? So I brought out the Flathead phone, one of these guys here. I actually enjoy these. I don't smoke them enough as I should for the amount that I enjoy them.
I like
one of my sleepers. Yeah, definitely one of my sleepers, but I definitely enjoy them. Alec Bradley, Tempest. Okay, so
Alex is back in regular rotation with you, brother.
Regular rotation. I went to one of the further cigar shops. Not one of my usuals, but one of my go-tos that I do go to from time to time. And this young gentleman there, he actually was very knowledgeable about Alec Bradley and the Sons and their work back into the brand. And he gave me two recommendations. One I didn't bring out, but I brought out the Tempest and saying, hey, like these are one of those cigars that's supposed to bring Alec back. But I'm not going to go with this one just yet. We're going to take care of this one.
Don't start your year with Alec. Don't start your year with Alec.
Alec hasn't earned my trust enough just yet. Even though it got a good recommendation and saying that this is one of the cigars that's supposed to bring the brand back, I don't know if I want to start the year off there. Not quite yet.
Don't do it.
All right. And
we love you, Alec. No, we don't do it though.
Not today. Not today. We got the Edge, man. The Edge is back with the new branding. So I actually
That's the
found it
move.
in my region. And we're here, the 20th anniversary of Rocky Patel's Edge. It could be a go-to. You know, how can you not smoke a Rocky Patel with it being as thorough as it has been and consistent for your new year? But I'm not going to smoke it.
Bro. If that ain't your cigar, what? Man. Just stop, man. Stop the recording, man.
Stop the show. Stop the show. Stop the show. Now, I'm not smoking the Edge. I'm not going to smoke the Edge. I wanted to start the year off uncertain, but with a company I trust, and one that I haven't given enough shot to, which is Perez Carrillo. Perez Carrillo.
Okay.
Perez Carrillo. The Allegiance. So we're going to go with this. This was a last-minute decision. I said it was between the Edge and this one. I said not quite the flathead, not quite Alec Bradley, but the Edge is looking mighty nice. It's tempting, but I said let's go with Perez, and that's where we're at. So we got the box press Perez, Nicaraguan wrapper type Sumatra. Wrapper is also Ecuadorian, and then what we got? It's handmade and box press. It's supposed to be pretty. Not mild, but not harsh. Like as far as like the strength level, it's kind of like in that teeter spot between mild and being a stronger cigar. So hopefully it doesn't start my year off too bad. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what this Perez does.
Hey man,
so here we are.
Let me make one last plea for the Rocky. I'm not letting go of this. Here we are, man. Come on, let's go. I got an Oliva V serie, bro. I got an Oliva.
Okay.
Think about our history. Oliva and Rocky, man. The V series and the Edge, man. That's our history right there, man. That brings it full circle. Now, you got the new rebranded version. I got the Lancero. I never had the Lancero. That's supposed to be the cigar today, man. Now, I like EP Carrillo, but I'm just saying, you know, smoke it. But you know what I'm saying? I just want you to understand, man, that Edge would have meant something, man. You know, it's like coming full circle. You know. Didn't we start smoking cigars in January? Didn't we start in January?
Yeah, we did. But are we in Miami?
This has got to be like, we're not in Miami, but this is like an anniversary in a sense, man. I don't know. What is it, about 14 years, man? 15? 13, 14, I don't know.
Something like that. 13, I think 13 years, something like that. About 13 years, yeah. But you know what?
Yeah.
It talked me into it. I'm going with the Rocky. I'm going Rocky.
There we go, man.
I was almost dead set on the Perez, but you know what? I'm going with the Rocky Patel Edge, the 20th anniversary. Something that we've been looking for a few weeks now. Finally ran into it. I've been excited to smoke it, so I mean, why not? Why not? I talked you into smoking a cigar last time or the time before. Yeah. I guess here I am. I'm gonna go with the Rocky. We're gonna go with Rocky. All right. You got me there. You got me.
If I could have got me an Edge, I'd be torn between the Edge and the Lancero right now. Like if I could have got an Edge, man. Yeah. I can't find it. I want it so bad.
All right, we got to cut. Rocky, we got to cut. I went with the V cut. Rocky's ready to go. So let's go ahead and get it lit.
Ooh, we in the game. Get out of there. All right. Hey, are you using any type of filter or anything? I mean, cedar stick or feel?
No cedar stick. Honestly, I don't even have my cedar sticks out here. So no, I'm not going to go with any spills or sticks or anything like that today. I don't even have matches right now.
Matches?
That's wild. Yeah, I don't even
Only
have matches
have or
right
don't
now.
Have matches?
I don't have.
Using a Bic?
No judgment zone, right? Yes, I'm using the Bic today.
I saw you had it pretty low. I couldn't see what you was doing, man. You was hiding it off camera while you was getting it going.
Yeah, so all my torches are out of butane. I need to re-up. I don't have matches. I don't have cedar sticks. But yeah, man, I'm going straight Bic. But hey, look, if there's any cigar that you do trust to work well with a Bic, you trust Rocky. You trust Rocky. You know that Rocky doesn't need too much aid as far as making sure that their stick burns well and takes on nicely. No additives needed for Rocky. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-mm. Good old Oliva.
Man, that control from a V cut is almost unmatched. Like I just realized that as I was taking my first two puffs just now, and just that control, especially from a well constructed cigar like Rocky.
Right.
There's nothing like that control from a V cut. Not even a punch. Not even a punch gives you that good kind of control.
Yeah. Yeah, this V cut, man, it worked well for me too. I'm glad I went with it. I be forgetting my V cutter, man. I don't be using it too much. I punch way more often than I V cut.
Really?
So, yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I always have my V cut on me because my V cut is a lighter V cut combination, you know?
Right.
And I always have this lighter on me, and sometimes I forget that it's a combination. And I'm like, okay, let me just grab my straight cut. And my V cut sitting right there. And then just smoking this just now, just off those first two puffs, it's like, man, this kind of feels like home. This is where I should have always have been. I think V cut might be my favorite cut.
I think so. I think V cut is my favorite cut. And it's very controlled. It's hard to mess up. It's a little bit of room for error, you know what I'm saying? But it's pretty much controlled.
Yeah.
I don't know. Punch and a V cut is pretty controlled. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh no, yeah, you definitely can't. You definitely cannot match up with a punch. I can't see you messing up with a punch. But as far as like getting the right amount of smoke as you take your puffs, it's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Yeah. The V will give you an abundance of what you need. I must say, you know, I do feel at home, man. There is some of those earthy notes is the first thing that's hitting my palate so far.
Okay.
On this V series. A little bit of a chocolate nuttiness also, you know, that I'm picking up on too. But this Oliva makes a mighty fine cigar, man. I must say.
So, let me ask you this. So are you doing the journey of this cigar? Mm-hmm. Are you in the mindset of comparing it to another shape of that Oliva V series, or are you just taking it for what it is? Are you looking to compare? Okay.
No, I'm not looking to compare. I'm not looking to. But realistically, I do have the expectations of my overall enjoyment being equivalent to a regular gauge or size. You know what I'm saying? But but I'm not like, okay, this one tastes this way, or this one, has this aroma, or this body of smoke on this one versus that one. I'm not on that ride. I'm just trying to enjoy it, man. I'm here to chill.
Yeah. Hey, look, man. So presentation matters, right? Presentation does matter. But with the Edge has always been one of those cigars that didn't rely on presentation, right? It's always been just a plain cigar. The only thing that's on the cigar is a band on the tip, which you're going to take that tip off, and you're smoking a cigar with no band on it now,
Right.
So Rocky, off of that, always relied on just having a great cigar, right? Not relying on the presentation to sell that cigar. So the Edge, in my opinion, and the Edge and the Double Edge too, it sold itself. Didn't rely on presentation. But I have to say one thing, that looking at this presentation, like I've seen it in ads and Instagram posts and all those things, but holding this thing up close and looking at this presentation, man, it's a beautiful presentation. It's a beautiful presentation to match a great cigar. Yeah, once you get a chance to get a hold of it, take a look at that band, man. That band is nice.
You got to post that for us too, man.
Oh yeah, no, for real. I got you. I got us on the post for real.
You say that every time.
I'm proud of the cigar.
I need to see that. Speaking of, let's get that out the way.
All right. We got anything in particular that you're pairing with?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I took a moment to snap a picture of the V series because that needs to be posted also. I'm telling you to post. You know what? Real quick before I talk about what I'm pairing with, because I got a story behind that. What that
Okay.
the band on that resembles the 55, right?
It's close to the 55.
Like
It
at
really
least the
is.
coloring. I can't make out too much.
Yeah. It is similar. I mean, like it does have that red and gold, but well, actually, I think 55 is more like maroon and silver. So it is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
similar, like
maroon
the
silver.
silver that is on here, because it has like the silver grayish, but it has a gold and kind of a more like a plum red to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see the similarities, but I think it's unique in and of itself.
I wonder, was it necessary? And I trust Rocky as a business person.
I don't think it
He
was.
seems
No,
to get it right.
it wasn't necessary. Yeah, I don't think it was necessary, but I think it was necessary in celebrating the stick itself. I think just out of celebration, say, hey, this is the 20th anniversary. This is like one of those staple cigars of like this is your flagship, in my opinion. Like to me, when I think of the Edge, I don't know if it's the same for other Rocky fans or cigar enthusiasts, but when I think about the Edge, I'll look at it as the flagship. At least it was the flagship for me, introducing me into Rocky Patel cigars. Um, it's like, how do you dress up and recognize and celebrate? So I don't think it was necessary for them to sell it in movie units of this particular stick, but just more so celebrating the cigar itself and celebrate what the Edge has probably meant to a lot of cigar enthusiasts and
Right.
aficionados. I'm pretty sure it means a lot to a lot of cigar smokers.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. And that's the right viewpoint on that also. It makes me look at this Oliva and I say they never changed it, but at the same time, I hope they don't. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm doing something different if you change it. Like I like it where it is. Like
Right.
it's traditional. You know what I mean? But you asked what I'm pairing with. Tell me if you remember back in the day, we'll say maybe around 2012 now, about 10 years ago, I had a go-to wine. I stopped drinking it because it disappeared. I couldn't find it no more. And something made me think about it. And I said, I wonder, can I find it again? And I found it. I hadn't found it in years. They just stopped selling it.
What it is.
It is a dry Riesling called St. Arbon's Hoff. I found my Hoff, and I'm back on it. I don't have it in a wine glass because I didn't want to look like, in here trying to look like I'm drinking out of wine. I just don't want y'all judging me for those who watch the video.
Two City, you know what I mean? Two City, you up here. It's all good.
Yeah, but I've been drinking it in my wine glass, holding it in my glass around the house, And that Hoff, man, I know Riesling is like a dessert wine, but this one is dry, so it ain't quite like the same. But
it doesn't feel like it's too sweet, whatever.
Yeah. No. It's got like it's very dry. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it just took me back to those times when I was smoking Olivas and Alex. I forgot my man name, Alex Bradley and Rocky Patels. You know what I'm saying? And drinking my Hoff, man. And
hey, look, man, back in the day,
I used to drink it now because I feel like I could knock the whole bottle out right now, like and be good.
You about to be back to one of them wine drinkers that used to kill bottles, man. Like I know some wine drinkers, a bottle is nothing.
I never understood it because I didn't have my go-to wines like that. But that was my go-to wine where I could sit down and do my thing with it. And they took it off the market for a while. They came back rebranded. I didn't even recognize it when I saw it.
Recognize it, yeah. New bottle, new label, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But hey, man, back in the day, that used to be our thing, man. Wine with our cigars. I didn't much so catch heat, but one of the older gentlemen I used to go smoke cigars with was like, man, you got to come up off the wine from time to time. Because I was Sauvignon Blanc every single time. I knew exactly what I was going to pair my cigar with, no matter what. But he kind of schooled me and said, well, you can't drink that with every cigar. Sometimes you got to find some different pairings. And then that's when we kind of jumped into the whiskey bourbon with the ginger ale mix and stuff like that. And I kind of got hooked on that. And that's been like one of my go-to because it goes with most of your cigars. But man, I was on that. I was on that Sauvignon Blanc heavy. Like whatever it was, because it's that same dry, definitely not as sweet as Riesling, but it kind of mellowed out those cigars. Mm-hmm. So even if you had a harsh cigar, something that was mellow too, it complemented the mellow and it dialed back the harshness of a more harsher cigar. So I don't know if the Riesling does the same for you. But man, being on that wine back in the day, we were on a wine journey back in the day.
Yeah.
Like whatever wines we could try, the ports and the Merlots, whatever. Like we was getting it in.
Yeah.
We were almost borderline of becoming wine connoisseurs.
Almost, man. We were headed down that path, man. And we backed off of it when the whiskey started. We started pairing with the whiskey, and then we went hard with that, and we ain't really looked back since. You know what I'm saying? Like wine has never quite been the same since we really
it hasn't been the same. Yeah.
Heavy.
But I still enjoy it. I bought a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc maybe 3, 4, 5 months ago. Sometime like middle to the later part of 2022. I jumped back in the wine thing for just a minute, visited for a second, and I hop back out of it.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go on a little run, man. Now that I done found my hearth and where I can get it at. I'm probably gonna be on a little wine run. So don't be shocked to see me drinking wine every episode. But I'll just lie to y'all and tell you it's ginger ale and whiskey or something. Y'all ain't gonna know better.
We would.
It's gonna be St. Arbonne's Hoff. I'm gonna be on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got that little apple taste, but it's not sweet at all. It's got like a dry bitterness to it, but it's just perfect. Where it's perfect for my taste buds. You know what I'm saying? And you always have to find that thing that works with your taste buds. Where you like, man, I'm into this. Because truthfully, most alcohols aren't ever good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you find the ones that are more manageable to deal with. You know what I mean? So like,
but we had discovered
with the Class A now. Azul.
Now the Class A was good.
Yeah, it was good.
The Class A
is still
Azul
good in terms of alcohol. It's good. It's still good, but it's good in terms of alcohol. It ain't good next to some juice. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I mean, and then we had been drinking for a while. Like if it was like maybe your first sip of alcohol ever, you might sip like, what is this? But it's the fact that we have a more complex palate now. We was like, yo, this is good. You don't got to put nothing. What is it? Smooth. It's straight. It's pleasurable to drink. You know what I'm saying? Leaves something nice on your palate.
In terms of alcohol, it's delicious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because that definitely was my reaction. Like, yo, this is delicious. But when it comes down to it, when you think about it, if you haven't drank alcohol before, it's probably one of the worst things you probably would ever taste.
Yeah, it's still alcohol.
This is great. So I have I'm still on brandy. I got brandy with some ginger ale mixed with it. Brandy season is almost over for me. I usually do the brandy in just the fall, but I did kind of extend it over to the new year. But man, I've been on champagne, man. I just ran out of champagne. I would have poured some champagne if I had some more, but I did run out of champagne a couple days ago, so I didn't feel like doing a re-up. But I have definitely been on a champagne crusade. My next stop, I need to step into the Dom League. Getting some Dom Perignon. That's going to be my next step. I need to see what that higher shelf champagne is like.
We must be circling back on a full cycle here, because if you going back to champagne, that was the thing too during the wine time. It was wine and champagne. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the
wine and champagne,
circled the block to the same area.
Man, remember we were doing the Proseccos? The D'Astis and all that good stuff. Like we was killing them. We was killing that for sure. But yeah, I'm definitely stepping into the more into the champagne league now more so than I have before. And I definitely, especially since we started up in that shelf level, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at those shelves a little differently now. Yeah. And like, man, do I walk to that Dom door? Is it time to step away from the, you know what I'm saying, the Mo and the Bel Air and walk into that Dom area and go with that. That's the next page.
Probably getting there. If you feel the urge, it's time. You know what I'm saying? Something's calling you.
Hey, but the thing is, you're afraid of being disappointed too. At that price point, you're afraid to be disappointed.
Yeah, you ain't gonna know till you get in there and try it though. Mm-hmm. I mean, we took a giant risk with that Class A. You know what I'm saying? That was just on some whatever, but it worked out. But That could have easily been like, man, where's the,
Get the 1800. Somebody put 1800
at? Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to shift gears for you, man. This is random. This might not last long at all. But I'm going to ask you a question. I heard this right before we went on. And somebody was saying, they were asking the question. They said, what is it that you can't learn as a person? Like, what skill is it that you can't learn as a person?
Can't learn.
And somebody responded, and they said the only skill they believe you can't learn is common sense. Do you believe there's any truth to that?
You know what?
Or can it be learned?
And this is something I've never thought this before. To a sense, I'm actually going to just not even try to rationalize it. I'm going to say no. You can't learn common sense. It's either you got it or you don't. Now, I don't know, like people who don't or seemingly don't have common sense, and we know we've all dealt with a few. Everybody has dealt with a few people where we feel like this guy has no common sense. Guy or gal has no common sense whatsoever. But the people who you perceive not to have common sense, they don't recognize that they don't have common sense. So I've never seen anybody put forth effort to try to learn common sense because that person that you run into is like, yo, you lack common sense. They never seem to get
oblivious.
Yeah, they're oblivious to it. So like, how conscious are they to try to learn common sense? And man, I guess I can go off of this. I mean, being a soldier in the NCO, somebody who mentors young soldiers on a daily basis, you run into a lot of young people who have, because you run into people from all walks of life, from everywhere, and you're like, yo, you have no common sense, and you go through all these ways of corrective action, as we call it, which that corrective action can look a lot of different ways, whether it's physical or mental. And it's like, dude, how do you keep making the same mistakes? Like, how do you keep running into and bumping your head against this? Like, you have no common sense. Like, how many ways in the military, I can't think of any other setting other than maybe school, grade school, where you actively try to teach somebody common sense. And even in school, I don't know if they necessarily focus on teaching common sense other than like just discipline of like you do something boneheaded, you get disciplined in a certain kind of way. But then it's like, it's not really hands-on as it is in the military where like I'm embedded in your everyday life, whether you're at work or off work, like I am in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day of your existence. Right. And you try to drive home common sense on certain things, and some people seem to just not get it. So I'm gonna stick on with what I said and say, no, you can't teach common sense. I don't think you can. I don't think you can. You can influence it, but I don't think you can teach it necessarily.
Can you? Is there anything else that you can't teach? I mean, can funny be taught? I mean, it seems like something that innately is either there or not there. You know what I mean? Like
no. That's another one of those things. Like, that's a talent. Like, funny can't be taught. It's either you're funny or not. Now, can you work on timing? Can you work on craftiness? But in order to even work on that, you have to have some kind of funny bone. And if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. If you just corny, you just corny. We've seen, you know what I'm saying, people who are comedians for years and they're just been corny and they've been able to make it somehow. You're like, somehow you got to learn the art of comedy.
Well, get this now. You make a good point. Funny. Timing is a skill to me, though. Yeah. It's a talent, but it can be a skill to have timing. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big part of funny. It's timing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. You got to know when to drop the punchline. You got to know when to pause and let it breathe. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah, but it's one of those things I feel like you can fine tune. Like you think of like a sports player. Like some people got that gift of sports. Some people can go out and not practice and still be able to perform. And some people have it, but then they heighten that level of talent by going out and practicing and working on that skill set, working on, you know what I'm saying, people who might be able to jump, you know what I'm saying, 30 inches, you work on it. Like, you know me, I can't jump. No matter how hard I work on jumping, I'm still only going to be able to get maybe a foot off the ground. That's it.
Yeah, big facts.
No matter how hard I try to work on it. But some people can jump 30 inches. Big facts. Hey, man. Hey, let's be real. We had a point. Look, the crazy thing is, like, we had a point like that we can be real about ourselves now. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day when you're like 18, 19, 20, and you're young and you want to keep up with the Joneses or you want to keep up with the next man, you try to be in denial about who you are. I'm not saying I was ever in denial about who I am. You still got hope. Nah, man, I can do this. Let me just keep working on it. You know what I'm saying?
Near 40, you still go nowhere. Jumping. Yeah.
At 40, it's like, it is what it is. I am what I am, all right? You know what I'm saying?
My best jumping is behind me. I know I'm not going to be able to do it no more.
I'm getting 6 inches off the ground, if even that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, my knees is gone. So the hopes of jumping is out the window.
Hey, I'm with you, though. We both ended up at 6 inches somehow, so you don't even worry about it. It's all good.
So we had that point that we could be real about ourselves. But you can learn. You got the natural ability to be able to jump 30 inches. Now you can make that 36 by working on it. You already got a super great talent, but now you can heighten that talent. And I think that's the same thing like with comedy. Like you got that natural funny, but now you can fine tune the timing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You see Dave Chappelle early Dave Chappelle. He was funny, but he got so much more witty 20, 30 years later, like to where those transitions and that timing becomes effortless. Which you can see the effort put into it. You go back in the 90s and watch some stand up. You can see him trying to get there. Yeah. But now it's just like, boom, watch this.
So we watched him in the 90s run off of talent. And then now we watch talent meet skill. And, fine-tune the skills.
Right.
But so if what you're saying is, in terms of funny, you can work on your skills and maybe you'll improve, but you might not. You probably still ain't going to be able to compete with the people that just got the talent.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, I don't know. Do we want to use T.I. as an example?
We can.
Like he has a limited level of talent when it comes to being funny, right? And I think he has a ceiling. Now, I could be wrong. Now, we can step back 5 years later. He could be one of the biggest comics ever. We never know.
Before you got on this road, what you about to say about him, do you think, I think I know why T.I. ended up trying to go down this lane. Because he's charismatic. Now, do you think he confused his charisma with being hilarious? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I think so. Me personally, I think so. Because you can get into a crowd with a bunch of your people and be like, and make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can make people laugh. But that doesn't make me necessarily funny.
Yeah.
You know, I can throw a joke out, you know what I'm saying, and be charismatic or whatever. You can do the same. I don't know how you feel about your funny. So I'm not gonna go there with you.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I can make people laugh. I can go into a room. I can either be quiet in the room or I can be the life of the room. You know what I'm saying? It can go either way. But I'm never gonna confuse that with, I make somebody laugh. I can go on stage and be a comedian now. No. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened with T.I. It's like, he's a superstar. People have laughed at him. Not laughed at him, but laughed with him. He's made people laugh and, you know what I'm saying, gotten responses and maybe felt like, you know what, I can be a comedian. And I think he might have put that too far in front of him to say, I can do this. Not saying he can't, but you get a certain sense from certain people that you're just naturally funny on that comedic level,
right?
You know what I'm saying. Now you can be funny in your living room with a group of your friends. That don't make you a comedian. That doesn't necessarily. You have that's like us going to the park and hooping. You know what I'm saying? I can dribble the ball between my legs. I can put up some shots and hit some shots all net. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't make me a NBA star. And even if I worked on trying to be a ball player, I'm going to say never, because I will never hit that level of being NBA level great at basketball. But we can all go to the gym and put buckets up and cross somebody over. That's
I think with T.I., I think T.I. is, he's a guy, even before the whole comedy thing, I looked at him as a guy with a sense of humor. I followed him enough to see him do funny things before, you know what I'm saying, or be funny. Yeah. But like you say, being funny and being a funny guy is different. You know what I'm saying? Moments of being funny versus being a funny guy. You know what I'm saying? But I think he has obviously he has. I'm gonna say that. You know, I don't know him personally, but obviously he must have a love for funny. And sometimes when people have a love for funny, they enter comedy. I think that's why you see a lot of unfunny comics on stage nowadays because they love the idea of funny. They love funny stuff. I want to be around funny. I want to be a part of funny. So because I love funny, let's try to be a comic because that's the world of funny. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people end up doing it or seeing other people this week make it, and they say, "Oh, well, if they made it, I can make it." You know, once everything gets watered down, everybody feel like they can do it.
Now, you get has there been a lot of unfunny people who have made it? Yeah, there's been several unfunny people who have made it.
Yeah, but and then you get people that's like a Mike Epps or like a Bernie Mac, or who else is someone that's like, when I say Mike Epps and Bernie Mac, I mean these are people who you put them in a room and they're gonna control the room. They're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Not even on no stand-up stage. I mean, you just put them in a room full of people and they're gonna be
and then that room is theirs. That room is theirs.
They're gonna have everybody in the room crying and stuff like that. They just funny people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think T.I. can fit that mold of what you're saying. I think you put T.I. in the room, I think he can control the room. I think he can control the room.
Yeah, charisma and sense of humor, but
yeah, I don't think that's comic level genius or anything like that. You know?
Yeah. Who knows though? But once again, that's comedy is something that people don't look at that requires a skill set, but it requires a skill set. That's why you see so many people go to these little clubs and these hole in the wall clubs and work on their stuff before they come put their special out.
They gotta work. That's the gym. That's the gym for them. You know what I mean?
You see Chris Rock and all these big name people, they in these little hole in the wall clubs. Dave Chappelle was in hole in the wall clubs for years before he got back on Netflix. He's back in the gym. You know what I'm saying? He putting up jump shots. All right, that worked. That didn't work. Hey, you remember what's the comic, man? Back in the day, he used to have a notepad. He would pull it out. He would say a joke, and then he kind of look. He'd be like shake his head and mark it off the list like that. And he's popular now.
Deion Cole do that.
Deion Cole. Deion Cole. That's him. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, Deion. He used to do that mess. But that was the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's really what they do. It's comics. So we go, all right, that didn't hit. You know what I'm saying? Mark that one off. Yeah. Y'all like that? All right, check. Like, I'm gonna keep that one. That's more of a comics joke amongst comics, but it was true.
It's true, yeah. But I know what's dope is I think like rap. Rap is something that you can learn. Rapping is a skill that you can learn. I think rapping is the everyday man's, Steph Curry moment. If you get out and you put up enough shots, you're going to learn how to hit these shots. And you're going to be a 6 foot whatever, small individual, and you can go be a superstar if you put up enough reps. You know what I'm saying? That is something that you can. Yeah.
Music in general, I think, falls in that category. I personally have zero talent musically. I have skills. I've worked at home, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't come naturally. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, I had no sense of none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I got skills.
I can I'll put myself in that category too. I'll put myself in that category.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm you know what I'm saying, ultra talented when it comes to that. But you do it long enough, you work on it hard enough, you're gonna get some decent product out of it. And especially if you can dedicate your life to it now. You definitely, and then you get around enough technology. Now you learn that technology and let that technology come together. Boom, you can do great things with it. But how do you feel about certain level jobs though that require a certain talent level, where not everybody has that capability to learn? Like say, like being an engineer or something like that. Does that fall in that same category, or does that fall outside the category, or is that more of that genius level? Like for me, I believe to be a great comic, you have to have a certain level of genius to be great at it. Yeah. Would you put that in that same boat, or would you put like rapping and music to me is like a trade? Of course, like having singing ability, vocal ability, that's on that level of comedic genius. You know, you either you got it or you don't. With certain lane of music, you can work music and make your way.
But see, I disagree with you on that because I think even with the singing, a skilled person can catch up to a talented person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think so.
Maybe when it comes to actual recording, I don't think necessarily if you put two people on the stage and you say you go. You're going to be able to see that skilled and talented person. They're going to separate. It's going to be night and day if you ask me. I think if you take that skilled person, you take that talented person, and you look at them both, and you put them on the same platform and in the same forum, and you say, go. Now you go. You're going to be able to tell the difference. Now, can that skilled person be better than a naturally talented person? Absolutely, yes, because they worked on it. That's why you have certain ball players who have natural talent, and they're not as good as that skilled ball player or as great or don't have any championships or accolades.
Iverson Kobe.
I think naturally, Iverson was just more athletic, especially at his size, to be what he was, but he just didn't work as hard as Kobe did to be what Kobe was.
Yeah. Look at it. Kobe was a bench player. Iverson was everything. You know what I'm saying? When they came in the league. So that's an example. Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, they was around the same time. Nobody cared about Floyd. Roy was all talent. Floyd, like, you know what I'm saying? Floyd was all skill. Like, but
I say, other way, yes. Floyd is more skill. Roy is more just natural, just talent.
God-given, amazing creature. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I think the same thing. I used to think what you think for singing. I used to think that, you know, you can't improve it. Either you got it or you don't. And then from there, you
can't improve it.
But that's what I used to think. I used to think either you had it or you didn't. And once you have it, now I can get better. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that you could start from zero, just like any other thing in music, and then build up to something. But that's what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying that you can take somebody who's been singing their whole life since they were 3 and they just functioning off talent, and that person that's been singing for 5 years off skills is going to beat them. The disparity is too big. You know what I'm saying? But somebody who has been, to use the Kobe and Iverson reference, somebody who's been working at it for 20 years and they're skilled, 20 years worth of skill versus somebody who's God gifted and just learned they could sing 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to beat that skilled person. They're just not going to out-sing them. Like, and you're going to think that person is skilled when in reality they just talent. I mean, you're going to think they're talented when in reality they're just skilled. So I disagree with you on the singing thing, but that's just because I learned anybody can learn to do it. And once I figure that out, it's like any other skill at that point in time. The person who put in the most work going to be the best. In my opinion. I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? But
I mean, like I still feel like there's a cap. I feel like there's a cap. If you don't have a natural talent, there's still a cap. Like when it comes to something like that.
The cap is the amount of time you have to put into it. That's the cap. Like, because you think about it.
To recognize I can't sing, but I want to learn how to sing, I better start when I'm 12 years old. And then I better not, you know what I'm saying, get on stage with nobody until I'm 30. I need that much time just to catch up with that naturally talented individual.
Maybe or maybe not.
I'm not saying 20 years. Maybe 5, 10, maybe 10 years.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Might be exaggerated.
Like, I would never get on in the same room with a Robert Glasper, who I can tell he's skilled. Of course, he works on his craft, but he's naturally talented at playing the piano. You know, I can learn some songs and some chords and tickle the keys a little bit and act like I'm trying to do something. But you're gonna be able to tell in an instant that person just worked on a skill and that person is just naturally talented. I don't know. I don't care how many years if I worked on it, would I ever see that level?
Okay, that's interesting. Let's go with instruments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody that's really naturally talented when it comes to an instrument? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much talent is there with an instrument versus skill?
I think so. I mean,
how much talent can there be though? I mean, like your first time.
I think there could be tremendous talent. Tremendous talent. Just off of one, like if you listen to, some people have a natural ear, and some people have natural mechanics, right?
Yeah.
just if you look at somebody, I remember back in the day, people would look at somebody's hand and say, "You should be a piano player," right? Because they would have certain dexterities with their fingers, right? That already gives you a natural ability to be able to do something. Now, whether you tap into that ability or not, that's up to that individual. Now, you put a keyboard in front of them and you try to teach them some lessons. If they have that ear combined with the dexterity, they're going to be able to move smoother and faster and easier and pick up things faster than somebody like me with short, fat fingers and not necessarily the best ear.
Okay, that's so the talent is the actual genetics in a sense.
The genetics. I mean,
outside the ear. The ear is an actual talent. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody ain't got
some people,
ear.
Some people have that ear naturally. Some people you have to train that ear. You have to learn that ear.
Yeah. Or learn to train my ears. But a lot of people. Right. Some people do have the ear. My son kind of has the ear naturally. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My 6-year-old. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you mean as far as that. That the ear is a talent. I didn't look at the fingers as a talent, but I guess it's.
I think it is.
The fingers is like being 6'7" in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? 6'7". Is it a talent?
True. But think about like flexibility. I think like flexibility is a talent. You see somebody who's flexible and they become a gym. Oh, maybe a martial artist. Like there's certain things in martial arts I wasn't able to do as somebody else. Like one of my friends, Wesley. He's just naturally able to do backflips and splits and things like that. So he had certain mechanics that he can do in the realm of martial arts that I couldn't do. I had to work on this. But then at the same time, he had to work on some other things too. But he had a natural talent for my hands, man. So not necessarily hands, but my reaction. So when it came to fighting, my reaction time, and I felt like I had naturally, like everything else on my body slow, but I felt like my hands were naturally quick.
Yeah,
I had quick reaction, and I was able to calculate in my head people's movements and able to navigate people's movements more naturally than somebody else. So that's one thing. Like when we used to train together, he had the athletic ability that he would help me out with, and then I would help him out with the more mental part of
so you fighting. Had psychology and timing is what your natural gift was. Yeah. But see, that's the interesting thing. We all have gifts. We all have those talents that we can apply. Absolutely. We can apply to whatever it is we're trying to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, I had zero talent musically, but I had talents in other places that probably helped me.
And then
as I was building my skills, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the general stuff you tend to think of as far as music, I didn't have those, like the ear and the long fingers and, timing, musical timing anyway. So, I guess when you put it that way, there are all kinds of
different talents. It's how do you tap into that talent to use it for whatever it is that you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's it.
Tap in, and I think that's an important lesson. I don't know if we're doing lesson day today on cigars and everything else, but learn what your talent is and apply your talent to whatever it is that you're trying to do to become more skilled at whatever it is that you're trying to do. I guess when it comes to big picture, that's all what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
But there are some things you can't learn.
What is it though? So far, it looks like it's just common sense. You know what I'm saying?
Common sense is not
we're on the same page that you can improve. We acknowledge you can improve in things we don't think you'll ever be great at. But we think you can.
But then when it comes down to it, you think about what we just said. Like everybody has a talent, like mentally be able to tap into something. But so if you don't have common sense, there's nowhere you can go. You can't.
You don't tap into.
You have to have some kind of. You have to be able to tap into something, and it takes common sense to tap in and say, okay, I can't do this, but I can do that. So let me use this to accentuate that. Yeah. That's the common sense. So now if you don't have it, you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go. You can't get it. You have to have somebody else on the outside to naturally force it to you. And that's the part we're talking about when I'm talking about like training soldiers and stuff like that. Like, dude, this guy has no common sense. Let me try to force feed it to him. And geez, he still can't get it. So is people without common sense unmoldable clay? Is basically what they become? Pretty much.
Dang.
or it's not necessarily unmoldable clay, but it's some tough clay. That clay needs some more water. It needs to be spun on that little wheel, like and faster, spin it faster. Like, look, you ain't gonna be able to pick up that clay like it's Play-Doh and just be able to bend it and do whatever you want to do with it.
So let's say this then. Is it safe to say, out of all the weaknesses you could have, that's one of the toughest to overcome? Not that you won't overcome it, but one of the toughest to overcome?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I don't know if you almost saw me just drop my cigar just now, but yeah, that almost ended bad. But but yeah, it's one of those hard. It's got to be the toughest thing to overcome. Almost unrecoverable. Like if you don't have it, like you just really.
And you know what's worse? You don't even realize why life is so tough. You're like, man, why life always hard, man? Everything gotta be. It's you.
It's you. Yeah, you have to have somebody on the outside to tell you. If you don't have anybody on the outside to tell you, then you just
what's
in
the
a
point
bad
of telling
spot,
them,
homeboy.
What's the point of telling them if they can't fix it? We might as well not even talk about it. It's like you having a club foot, and I point out, hey, bro, you got a club foot. You're like, man, I can't do nothing about it. Why are you even talking about it? Like,
well, I mean, from my standpoint, when you're in a situation where you ain't got no choice but to figure something out. Like, you're here. You're my soldier. We got to figure something out because we got to keep functioning every day. And I need you. You're one of my people. And if I'm only allowed to have 5 people to be able to do this task, and you're one of those 5, and there's no other way around it but having you as one of my 5, I got to get you to get it together so I can make sure that this functions right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you keep pushing. So from that standpoint, hey, that's the reason why I'm trying. But like, you think on another situation where I don't necessarily need you and you're kind of disposable, whatever. Do what you got to do. Ain't no hope for you. Good luck.
So, which in your situation where you have to help someone, 1 to 10, how close do you actually get to achieving what you need to achieve while working around that lack of common sense?
How close? I mean, make it work some kind of way, but it's a headache and a nuisance on the way. But I would say 1 to 10, depending on how hard you push, you can get to a 7, 8. Yeah, if you push hard enough.
It's strong.
If you push hard enough. Yeah, I feel like you can. Yeah, it takes a lot. Trust me, a lot of effort. A lot of effort, and I know that from firsthand experience dealing in that realm. But now, if you didn't try as hard and you didn't push every day with particular individuals, and you just left it on a surface level, then your likelihood of success is probably about a 3 to 4 at the best. At best.
Yeah.
At best.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, y'all. If you don't have no common sense, don't be offended. You know, this is ended on a positive note for you. It's ended on a positive. They don't know. We talking about you this whole time. But
it's all about me.
If we talking about your significant other or somebody you know when you offended, your cousin, your brother, your sister, you know, your mama, your daddy, whoever that ain't got common sense and you offended, this ended on a positive note because just keep in mind, you can turn lemons into lemonade and it's delicious. You can turn pig feet and hog intestines into soul food. This works, man. You can make this work, man. You can turn anything into something good. You just got to put some work and some love into it.
And a little bit of hot sauce. And we good.
A little bit of hot sauce, man. It's going to get the job done. So look, check it out, man. Let's go ahead and get into these reviews of these sticks, man. We didn't do no midpoint.
And we didn't have no midpoint, we didn't even do a first impression. Well, we kind of did a little first impression.
I did mine. You didn't touch on yours. But yeah, man, we getting back in the groove, man. It's been about 2-3 weeks, man. Whatever. So I'll say mine, because my stick really didn't change. Not too much. It kind of stayed the same. A lot of the earthy notes still stayed the same. The nutty notes, a little chocolatiness, that was the predominant what I dealt with. It I got about halfway through the stick within the hour here, and that's about the furthest I ever make it on the show. So this actually held up pretty well. You know, for the most part, I'm just getting into my second half when we end the show. And I'm probably officially at the halfway mark, so not much of a difference in the way it burned. I enjoyed the stick, man, as always, but that's what I expected from the V series. I'm gonna go with a 4.4 out of 5.
4.4.
Yeah.
All right, nice. And just to make some remarks on that Lancero compared to when I smoked mine, very similar to what I said. It had some great things that it was doing, but what it did very well, it just kept it right there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I did love about it. Like it brought out those things that I enjoyed about that cigar, and it kept it right there. And it was just it just made everything just feel good and smoke very well in that particular type of stick. Yeah. So
that's my
nothing I expected that, but it was cool to hear that, to say that, you know what, hey, that's what I got.
Yeah, I'm taking in a lot of smoke on each every time I inhale, but not inhale. Every time I draw from the stick, I'm getting a full body. You know what I'm saying? A smoke, nice, good smoke. It's good, man. Like any of the issues you would think you would have, you don't have with it. You know. Now I tell you this, I am having to dump the ash a little more regular because I'm not trusting it.
Okay.
But outside of that, it's cool, man. I mean, I ain't mad at it. I'm actually intrigued to try Lancero on some different sticks. You know, it's not a lot of them out there, but I am interested in trying them with the brands I trust. So,
yeah, with the brands you trust. You know, and I'm actually, now that you say that, I'm probably gonna venture into some other brands if I notice them out there, just to see, like, is it the construction from the brand or the construction from the type of cigar that actually aids in helping that cigar. So I'm actually willing to jump into some cigars of brands I don't trust with that Lancero, just to see, just from purpose of trying to find out and figure out, because you know we never done it before. It's a new lane, but it's a lane I'm willing to stick with.
Keep this in mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, consider this anyway. Not keep in mind, but consider this. Do you think hand rolled versus manufactured, you know, will make a difference with a Lancero? Because that's what I think. I think they say some of these different places that are manufacturing it by machine is where you run into construction issues. So
yeah, I think hand rolled matters more. Like I think it matters more of how the cigar is constructed on the Lancero than any other type of cigar. I think that if it doesn't count any other time, that's where it does count. I think that's where it does count. Yeah, so. That's just my opinion. Don't hold me on it. I don't know for sure. Like I said, we're brand new to jumping into that Lancero realm, but I would say so. I would say so.
Yeah, when going this thin, you seem like you would want to trust a hand a little more than just something dropping down and, you know, doing everything.
Yeah. Your room for error has to be very slim, like very slim room for error. It's got to be. Right. I can only imagine. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let me go ahead talking about this edge. I don't know what do you want me to say? It's the edge. It's the edge.
Hey, is it the same edge you remember? Do you feel the same? Like,
I feel the same. I don't feel like it was any. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, you know, I don't think that it's changed any, and you may not, I don't know how long it's been since you had one, so you may not be able to compare it per se, but did it take you to the same place it used to when it was a staple for us?
It did. So one, off of aroma, yes, right there. And aroma is one of those things that's very nostalgic. Like it's nostalgic building. And definitely off that first couple of puffs, once that cigar got lit. Matter of fact, no, not even when I lit the cigar. When I took the cigar out the plastic, when I removed it from its casing, and I could smell it. You know, we already talked about sniffing the cigar. I actually did sniff the cigar this time. But even when I had just pulled it out and that aroma hit me, like, ooh, this is, yeah, I remember this. Because as we know, the edge honestly didn't even come in cellophane before. It wasn't even in plastic. So, like, taking it out, it might actually even seemed even more potent with that aroma coming out of the plastic than before, because it's just it's been ready to release. So as soon as you take it out, boom, that greatness of that edge it hits you as potent and it's pleasurable. But the smoke is good. Of course, the construction is top notch. And I hate to be on Rocky like this all the time, but it is what it is at this point. Rocky just does it very well. And I'd be curious to find a Rocky who doesn't do what we keep saying that they do, because we just keep finding that this does what it does. But the aroma, great, nostalgic. Then off that first light, of course, with the V cut, very controlled smoke. That draw was nice. Good thick smoke, but not overpowering, overbearing. The notes I was getting, of course, that earthiness, a lot of nuttiness, slight spice, but of course it's rocky, so you kind of expect it. But the spice doesn't last very long. Like after that first third, I'm into the second third already, and spice is gone. There's little to none now, and it's just a smooth stick, man. I'm gonna give this bad boy. I'm gonna say a 4.5, man. I'm gonna put it in that Liga realm. Like once you go 4.5 and up, you're touching Liga area. You're talking that Oliva area. You're going there. It's in that, you're in that Cohiba realm, and I think the Edge is one of those ones that doesn't miss. So 4.5 on the Rocky Patel Edge 20th anniversary.
Okay. That's interesting, man. I was close to doing 4.5 on this Oliva, but I didn't want to feel like I was gassed, so I just went 4.4. I might have overthought it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So that's dope. Yeah. That's dope. Hey, man, that was the Jackie Robinson episode, man, you know?
Yeah.
Episode 42.
First stick of the year for me. First episode of the year for us. Hey, man.
Oliva Rocky, we went Edge, we went V serie. Can't do no better, man. Good things to come when you start off like that. Hey, yes, sir. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We'll get with you next week and keep them sticks up.
Keep them up. Cigars up. We out.
Yeah.